What'd you think of that new unit they were suggesting? They didn't really give a name for it.
The new unit for Protoss or for
Yeah.
Terran? Protoss. I don't know. I mean, we can use anything we can get. I have no idea.
Basically, they were going to say it's a core gateway level unit. So
Yeah.
this isn't something they'd be adding to late game.
So
This is
so
early
it'll
game.
it'll definitely be more bread and butter. I mean, we need more bread and butter because you have the Terran, you have the Marine could do a lot,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It's just
So for anybody who didn't hear our conversation beforehand, what they were suggesting was this unit that they didn't give a name to that has a delayed blink where it sends out an illusion of itself and then it blinks
yep,
to that location.
yep,
So obviously the strength of the unit is entirely dependent on what it's like without that.
yeah.
It's like Star. It's like Hearthstone card. How
So
good is it without the text?
so did they say anything about the shadow being invisible, or can they see the shadow moving?
I think they. You know what? Actually, I don't know if it said.
Because if you can
Hold
see
up.
the shadow, you can see where your opponent's going to blink. Then that's going to be a pain. Because I mean, it's not like Stalker Blink where you just show up in a location because they can't see your cursor moving.
No, I mean unless the point of it is to work around bunkers
Yeah,
or something that's static,
yeah.
which it might be. Maybe that might be what they have in mind is to deal with static positions. Though that strikes me as like a very aggressive unit if that's going to be the case. But again, it all depends on how much it costs, how much damage it does.
Yeah, we'll have to. I mean, we'll have to. Just the gateway units for Protoss right now are they're pigeonholed into one, and you've got the Zealot. All he can do is melee, and the Stalker is range. But you know you got stuff like the Marine that can stem and increase the damage output, ridiculous, and then you've got the shield for it and everything. I think it'll be good to because we don't have a lot of upgrades we can apply to one single unit. I mean, the Zealots get charge, Stalkers get blink, but
Hmm.
that's
But
okay.
the thing is, that's all later game stuff.
Right.
So I think I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I'd be okay with a little more variety early game, I guess, summing up.
Oh, actually, they made a blue post in the forums explaining this how it works a little further. They said the shade ability doesn't currently have manual activation. It differs somewhat from Blink. It automatically teleports. Oh, you mean when you teleports to the shade? It's not something you activate. Like you move the shade out there and it expires and you warp to it. So, a person was asking if there was like a way to cancel it once it's been activated, and answer is right now no.
Huh, okay.
The idea is that players who are capable of perfectly timing the positioning of the shade when it expires would be rewarded.
Okay, so
Um,
it's kind of like a skill shot that you might grow.
skill flank, if there is such a thing.
Yeah,
I guess that's what you would use it for.
skill fly.
Just appear on the other side.
Does the is the movement speed increased over the base unit, or is it more than?
I actually don't think it says. Then I scroll up and there's a bunch of really angry posts. This is a typical Blizzard community, after all.
Of course. Oh my
It's
goodness. We
like
can't see
stuff in
the good.
caps and like all the rage.
Yeah, we can't see the good in anything.
The hurt, man. You removed the Terran. You hate Terran. Blah 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 blah.
What are you doing this to Terran for? And then the Zergs are like, I don't know, man. I just make Zerglings.
They're like, bro. Hee hee hee. Anyway, yeah. It's you know, it has normal movement speed, so I'm assuming it moves at the same speed as like something. It
Yeah.
doesn't say because I'm like, what's normal movement speed
I
in
mean,
here?
they would announce it if it was weird.
I think they want to get feedback on the ability. They don't want to get feedback on anything else, which is why they're being so fake.
Right.
Oh, they reduced the absorption on the Immortal. That's interesting. But they made it not an upgrade.
Mm,
It was before to get the barrier effect.
yeah, that was frustrating. The Immortal, that was the utility, and they took it away. It's kind of like, well, I just have an overglorified Stalker now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Whenever they say something in like when it's something you can't interact with and they're like, this number was changed to this number, you're like, okay, I have to go use it before I know what that means. So
Right.
whatever.
All right, so we're loading into game one here. AMH versus Mercury. It's been about 3 months since they've played, so this should be interesting. Diamond level match.
They apparently have never actually played.
Oh, what?
They've played other people. I matched them together, and then their schedules have never lined up ever.
Oh,
Part of
so
it was
this should
because
be.
Mercury went to the UK for a while, though.
Yeah, this should be interesting then. They've never played each other, so.
I'm just glad I didn't on air do that thing that I did at each of AMH's matches where I forgot he was Zerg. I did it in my head this time. I'm like, is this a PvP? No, no, it's not.
Ooh. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In the bottom left part of the map, we have our pink Zerg player. From LF, it's AMH.
And at the top left of the map, his opponent spawning as the blue, not the teal. I lied. Protoss player, it is Mercury. Yeah, so at the beginning of the match, I was kind of fumbling here. Haven't observed in a while. So I nearly forgot all the hotkeys. But we're good, we're good. I think I got everything.
Huh. I remember some of them. I was trying to create a best of. I was trying to see if I can make the USA best of two, but no, I won't do that. But yeah. Okay, so these two guys, for anybody who hasn't seen them play before, are both pretty high level players in the sense that what we usually get on here, this is about the highest we get, actually. The Mercury has been the Masters before. AMH could very well get there pretty quickly if he wanted. I think if he keeps playing. So in other words, I've not seen either of these guys lose much, to be honest.
What happens when you put two winners together? There
One of
has to
them
be one.
loses.
There has to be one.
Well, if anyone's out there has watched a comic get killed, it's the same thing that happens when you take two of those powerful weapon users. One of them dies.
What? What? Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at?
Oh, just the song. I'm guessing Mr. AMH does what a lot of players do and plays with music. Have you ever done this yourself?
Me, yes, actually. Especially on ladder, it helps with the anxiety. The anxiety is a problem with me. This is why I haven't laddered in a while. Actually, I just, I sit down. I don't want to be stressed when I play games. I've been playing less stressful games, and then getting stressed out.
You've been playing Heroes.
I've been playing
angry.
Heroes. Exactly, that's
It's
how
a
that
different
works.
type of stress. It's much more manageable.
Right, right. So, but yeah, no, I definitely play with music. Usually it's like K-pop or big band, epic orchestral arrangements, or some really cool electronic stuff. So, high energy, high energy.
Cool, cool. This is actually something I don't do very often. I think I've done it maybe once or twice. Not that I have a problem with it. It's just that I actually like video game music a lot. I know I'm weird, but like I actually don't mind hearing the same kind of low-key Protoss tune all the time.
Yeah, no, I especially do it with things like Skyrim and Guild Wars. I have those soundtracks. I love Jeremy Soul's work.
Oh yeah, that would be amazingly good, actually.
Oh yeah, just the orchestral, even when it's quiet, it's pretty good. So.
Actually, I would love to create a custom track with just really heavy bass stuff, like that one track from the Zerg campaign. There's like crazy drums going on,
I love
and
it.
then I go to a bunch of other games and find the same thing. As many of them as possible, put them all in the playlist.
Yep. All right, so give us a layout. What do we got going on here? Some pretty silly stuff.
Right now, what we're looking at here is normal openings, except this is Forge Fast Expand with a Cannon Rush timing. So he's thrown that in here behind the third of AMH. But AMH is pretty on top of this. He's got some things over here to deal with it. I don't know if he's going to be... Actually, he might be slightly short to be able to stop it. Once a few cannons get up, you take some pretty serious losses no matter what you do. And you kind of have to make a judgment call here. Are you going to lose the hatch? Are you going to sacrifice more units at it and lose those? And it looks like here what he's just going to try and do is get the queen out, build a couple of units, rally them away and just accept this as a lost cause. What I think this tends to do to a lot of Zerg players is it tends to throw them into an all-in. Some
Yeah.
people will just re-expand. Some people will be like, "Fine, I'm too basic."
I don't know. This was pretty good by Mercury though too. He read the 3 hatch. It's a pretty greedy opener. There was nothing here.
This is actually one map where, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do it anywhere, it makes sense here because you don't necessarily immediately know where your opponent's going to spawn. So cannon rushing the natural is a little harder. Cannon rushing the third is much harder. Like, it's pretty amazing that he pulled that off. It's actually pretty difficult to do.
Yeah, just the positioning of the
You
bases too.
see, AMH, here's the response. He's putting a hatchery in front of his base. This is probably not because he wants the minerals. I don't think
Are
he
you
wants to
sure?
mine the minerals and the
Are
gas.
you sure he doesn't want these
At the
minerals
very
right
start.
here?
He might do it
Maybe
by
he
function of
just
being near that, but I don't think that's his goal.
I think he just missed a little bit. I think he's just gonna mine from that base. Nothing cheesy's gonna happen.
No. Now, this is the thing: is he's got a couple of these drones down here. He can try and kind of fake an attempt at trying to pick that up. And this is how it's going to run in here. And this is what he's looking for: is he wants to see kind of what's been done with the money. Did he try to pick up some kind of tech? He sees one spine crawler there, so he might be thinking, okay, maybe mutas. He wants to get close enough to see if he can click on these buildings and figure out what they are. He does get close enough to do this. So we are looking at, and he sees 2 Evo chambers. This is going to be kind of an interesting thing. He sees lair popping up into Evo chambers, so this is kind of implying some macro, but he doesn't see much more than that.
It may also be implying Mutalisk.
So he might. One of the things I think from the Zerg perspective you suddenly have to worry about is, okay, is there a ninja expansion somewhere? Or rather, from the Protoss' perspective, because you're like, okay, what do you do with that money? Because you saw him build a spine crawler. That doesn't explain most of the minerals he just got. He has some lings that doesn't explain the rest. And then you see the creep show up in your vision, and you're like, oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, so he definitely knows this is here. There are a couple of spine crawlers going down now. And a spore. And these zealots are going to get here. They're probably going to take this out before it pops. There's enough DPS here.
Yeah, that's the other one is a spore crawler. There's not really enough. Well, he's going to try and micro against. He's got a queen up now, so all he technically has to do is run around for a while, and he can eventually just kill them. He's going to get some. This does do some counter econ damage, so to speak. If he can get a creep tumor up, oh, he stopped it. Very nicely done.
Wow.
Pretty much half the reason you do this is partly to get that creep tumor up.
Yep.
Yeah, cool, great. If you manage to hold this location, push down his front, sure. But what this also does is it slows down his ability to grab a third. And if you get a creep tumor there, it slows down his ability to get a third until he gets detection, which is even better.
Yep.
Now, as you can see, though, Mercury is... I think he's going the air route this game, and he's going the more aggressive air route in Void Rays.
Yep. He's got a Phoenix down here poking away at these Overlords, too. This will eventually do some serious damage. Unchecked. Void Ray chasing down that poor unfortunate Queen off creep there. Taking it down fairly easily. And, yeah, he's content to move in. The air is definitely going to hard counter anything he's got coming out right now.
Yeah. He's picked up the ones. He's picked up the one Overlord. That's it. There isn't really much else. And when you grab this, when you've got this one Phoenix, this is primarily for scouting and to make him take his Overlords off the map if you can. If you see him pushing him back out like he's doing here, then you continue to punish him. And however, the big bulk of the attack here is actually wrapped up in this Void Ray. Now we've got an enormous problem for Mercury, namely that there's a giant flood of lings running at his base. And he has more than enough zealots to stop that. Does not have a giant problem unless banelings show up. He's fine.
Yep, I don't believe that there is a baneling nest either on the field. There is an infestation pit. He chose that route instead. But these rocks...
Oh.
If Mercury doesn't pay too much attention here...
Does Mercury even have a way in? I think that's a full wall off. So if he recognizes this happening, he has to warp in more zealots on the side to actually be able to do something about it. And Mercury is supply blocked right now. Ooh. He's got 6 pylons that are warping in. Now, he actually should have enough time to still get some zealots, but this is scary, to say the least, from the Protoss perspective.
And he's
going for the attack.
Yeah, but he's paying attention to the front, too, so as soon as these... Oh, well, he's got AMH to pull stuff back. He's got a scary enough force. Yeah, I'd be scared of this, too, actually. Zealots and Void Rays, this is no fun. Spine crawlers.
Oh, I actually think he had them on the same hotkey. He's running everything back up there.
Man. Spine crawlers going down quick. Everything's going to evaporate here under these lasers. There are plenty of sentries for force field control.
Okay. So this is one of those things where if he can somehow survive this attack, if he gets the Lings in there, he kind of needs to go for the economy. If he can shut that down, basically we just have a long, extended game of sit around for a while and wait for them to rebuild their economies. He did kill the hatchery, though, so he has to break in and do some damage now. And he's broken down the rocks, but he's not told his guys to go in just yet. And Mercury hasn't actually noticed that anything's even wrong back home. Both players are focusing on the micro at the front.
Yep. He's pretty content here to continue pushing. Spore Crawler's going to pick away a little bit of these Void Rays, but not before they get taken down fairly easily. Yep, and AMH moving in. He's got an opportunity. Pick off so many probes at the main base before Mercury finally figures out and starts evacuating them, but it's too late. Speedling's going to chase these down. 16 probes. 17 probes so far. This is brutal. Mercury not really caring, though. He's going to move right up the ramp, move right into the main base. He's got plenty of force fields here. Force field out any reinforcements. And, don't... Ooh.
Interesting. Door!
Door!
Okay.
Yeah, this is...
Look, sometimes this happens. You're playing a video game and in real life just kind of shows up and goes, hey, pay attention to me now. You're like, okay.
Yep.
Now, granted, I'm a lot less worried than I would be if you had typed fire. I'd be like, oh, I hope he doesn't die. That would be really unfortunate.
Oh, I'd be really upset if he did type that. That's something you don't want to... Yeah.
He's ready, and we're continuing.
All right.
Okay.
So, AMH is going to have to pull some serious, silly stuff off to finish this. I don't see him.
Lose his Lings if he's just running. Oh, he's trying to stop the upgrade.
Yeah.
That does give him his Lings a little more usefulness, but he's going to lose them all, so... Meh.
Ultras are out now, though. If just the Void Rays, though, doing tons of work. There's transfuses going down. One Ultra goes.
Ooh, yeah.
Not quite yet.
Great idea in theory, that as long as the Void Ray is there. Looks like it's going to survive that.
Wow,
These Ultras are huge threat to Mercury. He has to pull everything back. He can't force field them out. Nothing the sentries can do against them is going to be worthwhile. They'll just lose in gigantic numbers. The Zealots are not very great either. So he's going to fall back now and just kind of solidify his defenses as hard as he can.
Damn good hold by AMH. Those Ultras came out just in time. Very well done. Yep, just trying to get things back running here. He's got a hatchery up at the front. Mercury, though.
Yeah, it looks like AMH is basically saying, you expect me to attack, I'm going to make an expansion. But it looks like this pylon here has actually picked up on this just by being able to see the creep. He's going to walk up to... Well, okay, he's going to be unhappy about the positioning of the sentries right now.
Ooh, careful, careful.
There's a lot of Protoss here. They may not be the greatest units for fighting Ultralisks, but these guys will do a number on them. And yeah, there's nothing else behind this, so GG.
AMH calls GG. Alright, both of these players are Diamond League.
We are looking at Diamond. One of these is a former Masters player. Honestly, I don't really see him play beyond what I would consider High Diamond or Low Masters much, but he's been away from StarCraft for a long time, so calling him Diamond is a pretty safe bet.
Yep, usually muscle memory mechanics don't usually fade. Takes about a game to get back into it. But
okay, so that means right now Mercury's ahead 1 against his opponent. I think he's going to be a little more expecting something more aggressive, which I think is actually a great call when you're facing against somebody who's had more practice than you. is to lower the circumstances where they're playing with their practice helping.
Yeah,
They're going
definitely.
to have more experience in longer term games than you, in other words, so forcing it into a faster situation is often wise.
Yep, yep. Play your little more seasoned status against him. And the players are ready, so let's go ahead and hop into game 2. Best of 3.
Lies, they faded in 2 weeks. It's kind of like riding a bike. It's hard to forget, but except in this case, he's a BMX champion. Or,
Yeah.
sorry, pro. Oh, well, not champion, he's not like grandmaster player. It's harder to forget when you're really good. Bottom right of the map, we have our teal Protoss player. From no clan in particular, it is Mercury.
Yep, in the top off-right position is our pink Zerg player from LOF, is AMH, his opponent. Dropping game 1 to lots of zealots, lots of zealots. Those are rough to deal with, especially if you can't get the ultras out fast enough. They can do a lot of damage if they sneak them into your mineral line.
Yeah, ultras. Ultras are one of those interesting units where they make their way into certain normal compositions, but a lot of cases you just don't expect to see them before a certain point in the game.
Right.
They pop up. They're like sometimes they're either an afterthought, or like, well, I have a lot of money, I'm just going to try and make ultras, and in which case they don't really do as much. Or sometimes it's a deliberate all in, and you just completely misread them, and then they pop up, and you're like, oh my goodness, no, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, no. Uh, so yep, nothing too crazy yet. Just pretty passive. Excuse me. There's no 6 pool, so things aren't going to get off to a very quick start, but
Actually, noticing
AMH.
Mercury keeping his probe bag here, not going for the scout. This is interesting in that usually forge openings often will go for the scout just because you need to play it a little differently if you are getting early pulled. And you can see that he is going for a gateway opening here.
Yep, gateway instead. Drone, excuse me, from AMH. Got a pretty
So
good scout
this
off, but
this is an irritating and frustrating thing that can be done to the Protoss player by the Zerg. Yes, it just doesn't happen as much because people usually keep their drones at home. But yeah, you can run this around in here and basically force the probe to put its attention other than building things. And you notice Mercury's finally starting to climb up toward having enough minerals. Unfortunately, AMH wasn't able to keep the drone there long enough. Well, no, he did delay it slightly. One of the over 70 minerals past what he needed. Cool. Really, really tiny advantage. From a mechanical standpoint, from a psychological standpoint, this is irritating as hell. Makes you want to kill the guy more. Doesn't matter whether the Protoss or the Zerg doing it.
die, die. Yep, AMH opting for a hatch first. He's going to have this base a little bit earlier than Mercury does. Not too much of an advantage, but it's definitely nice to have that base up. So yeah, pretty macro-oriented openers here. Cybercore going down at the front. Mercury wants to finish this wall, definitely. He shouldn't be, there's not too much to worry about right now, but just versus a Zerg as a Protoss, that wall, it's your, not your saving grace, it's your foundation for sanity.
That thing is such an enormous comfort level thing for most players that if it isn't like you'll even see them do it when they're just not familiar with certain matchups where they probably shouldn't. Like they build the wall against the Terran, and I'm watching and I'm going, you might regret that. But, it's just what they know, because that's what they've been practicing. So this is a very frustrating thing. It sometimes happens. If this happens to... Oh, nice block. If this happens to you before plat level as a player, I'd say, this can kill you, because it causes an unmitigated amount of panic. As you can see, the Mercury here has probably been through this situation more times than I have played StarCraft. So he's getting a Mothership Core out, and he'll be fine.
Yep, easily deflected. Zealot was there to do some damage. Mothership Core came out to finish him off, and things have stabilized again.
Yeah.
Opting to go into Phoenixes again.
You'll
That's
note though that AMH he saw an opportunity to get in, kill something, didn't build any lings to go behind it. Mercury starts thinking about Pylo the Pylon. But yeah, he's going for his third, and we just have Mercury going for the typical Protoss Phoenix builds here. I don't know if he's going to go for another two base attack or if he's going to try and get a third off of this. Phoenixes can really do allow you to do either.
yeah, pretty good. I like Phoenixes myself, especially against Zerg. Forces them to deal with them because Overlords are Overlords are very squishy, very squishy.
Me
Backbone of your
personally,
economy.
I think I like the build from a viewer standpoint, especially.
Oh yeah.
I am bad with this build. I don't know about you. Something horrible happens every time. I get a couple overlords and then I fly them into like a bunch of queens and a spore crawler on accident. I'm like, oh man, those are expensive.
I actually love this because Huck will do this. He'll open Phoenix and move into Colossus and have Phoenix Colossus on the field. Now that is absolutely the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I
That
love
is
Phoenix Colossus so much.
that is a strong composition and it's a strange one. It was one people only theorized about for a long time just because it is admittedly hard to have that much gas. But if you can pull it off, it's crazy stuff.
Yep. I'm gonna harass the drones a little bit here that are transferring. We're not gonna get too many kills, but Phoenix count is rising. This is bad news for AMH.
Kind of the point of these things is to keep the Zerg at home, make him focus on the defense here, get his vision off of the map, and allow you to do something else. In this case, the something else is get Nexus.
Yep, getting a Nexus on the back of this. Probing up. Picking on these queens. This sucks too. Can't inject. You lose that extra larva. So yep, the expansion coming down for Mercury. This is definitely going to get him back.
Mercury hitting another supply block though. Kind of showing a little bit of the rust there. Usually this doesn't happen at 52.
Yeah, a little bit. Phoenixes are hard to control though. They take a lot of.
Unless you're assembly.
Yeah.
This happens at 52 all the time for this exact reason.
Gotta micro my Phoenixes. Ah, crap. Yeah, there's a glorious squid going on here. Octopus.
So much squid. So he's transitioned out of Phoenix production, I think. He has the supply now. I'm going to see if he continues it. He's just going into work production. He's got a forge.
This is gonna cause some trouble here though. Link's moving up to the front. All he's got are air units.
He's got a Zealot here to hold this off for a little bit. He's going to have to pull the Phoenixes back to the base once he sees this start to... Oh no, it wasn't on hold position. Okay, he's corrected that problem. He's found a new base. There's a photon overcharging a couple up here. But it looks like he's just going to scout it and leave.
Yep, figured he didn't want none of that. Phoenix is moving out of the west side of the main here. See if they can get some work done. There's a spore crawler in there that shouldn't do too much damage. There's a decent defense. You got a queen in. But now this goes here. Hydrodent going down. Ooh, two Hydrodents.
Double Hydra dead?
A little bit
I wonder
of a
if he's going to
mistake,
cancel one of those in a second.
Yep. Spore crawler gonna pop up one of these Phoenixes. Gonna take out the gas drones. Super annoying here.
Are there two upgrades you can get out of this thing? There's a range upgrade and there's... Yeah, I guess there are.
Groove spines and Hydra movement
No,
speed.
the build where
I
you
think.
do this on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know. It takes a lot of gas.
In theory, you could if you really wanted to get range and ground movement speed really fast, which he does. That's exactly what he's doing. Okay, AMH. I give you the you know what you're doing tag. And this is actually kind of scary if they pop out with both those upgrades, I think.
Little bit. Their advantage will come faster. That's always nice, especially if you just hold down the hotkey for those. 6 of them on the way out now.
Yeah, muscular augments as far as their the ground speed thing. That doesn't change the normal speed for anybody who isn't necessarily familiar with the way this works. What it does is it increases their speed off of creep, which makes them a little bit more useful. And if you weren't playing back in Wings of Liberty, let me kind of paint a picture for you. If you made a Hydra army, it was a strong Hydra army, and it was very good at killing things, unless it needed to leave. If for some reason you thought you were about to lose a fight, there was a good chance that all your Hydras would die before you got back to base. So one of the things they put in Heart of the Swarm is an upgrade that actually mitigates that somewhat. You'll notice this. You're going to see right now. This is how fast they used to move. And then the upgrade should finish in about a second here. And
Doop 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 doop.
oh,
Boom. There you
doesn't
go.
seem like a huge. Yep, there they go. Doesn't seem like a huge difference, but it means you can outrun a lot more things, or at least maybe half your Hydras get home.
Yep. This is scary here. Hydra's moving up. Get a little bit of high ground vision. Gonna.
There's way too much here. I don't think he can break into that. And he's backing off immediately. Oh, going up to the main base is interesting. He's going to get his forces cut in half. This is kind of brutal, actually.
Ouch.
There's so much gas being lost right now for the Zerg. Just wrapped up in all those Hydras.
Definitely super painful.
That
That tipped the other direction. I was expecting that to go very badly for Mercury, but
Now, I think they're actually kind of even at the moment, despite that, and that's only because Mercury hasn't spent so much resources.
Ooh. Little micro mistake. Moved Phoenixes over the Hydras, lost 2 of them.
Ooh.
Ouchie.
Yeah, this is interesting because that's a really painful, scary loss for AMH, and I think if Mercury had been as on top of things as he might have been back when he was playing regularly, that probably would have ended the game. But
Lost
here,
Phoenix.
yeah, and you can see he's pushing out production buildings. He's getting Colossus build up. He's getting a bunch of upgrades. He's trying desperately to get this money spent because he can push this advantage that he technically made for himself pretty hard.
He's got a pretty good gas pool. He could get another two Colossi out here to deal with these ground forces, but it's not going to be in time. Not going to be in time.
Okay, Hydra's hurt like a lot, and they're just trying to go immediately for that Colossus. They get right on top of the Stalkers, and they, at least for the most part, are going to die. Not too much Blink Micro coming in until the end of that there. Loses the Colossus. He's done a decent amount of damage to the Hydras now, but things still haven't swung necessarily one person's favor or the other. He's gone up the ramp this time. He's going to run in with the Hydras. These are essentially dead. If this doesn't work, you can see he's trying to focus down any kind of targets off of opportunity that appear. Oh, he's trapped them? No, Blink is great. And we have another Colossus out that is not doing his job.
Come on, Colossus. Moving in.
I think he's got this Nexus. Definitely. Like, I don't know if he's going to get much more. Yeah,
He's got an escape route. He can make it out of here real fast. Ooh, these Stalkers. Oh, they hurt.
So he should get home with at least some of these Hydras.
So not too bad.
Blink.
No, not too bad. The natural Nexus went down. It's a huge amount of mining time.
It's a pretty good trade, although, again, we'll notice that Mercury, only until just recently, huge overstock of gas and minerals, so things are still kind of even-ish, but the Zerg has now reached 4 base, which means he can start trading pretty hard in ways that would most people consider inefficient and probably get away with it. Mercury is trying to double expand. AMH, I wonder if he's going to figure this out. He's going to hit from the left side here. There's 2 Colossus. This is going to scare it away. He's got 2 forward. He sees it immediately, and he's out of here. This one Hydra is going to run forward, sacrifice himself so the rest can hopefully get home. Nope. Those 2 aren't. 3. Is he going to take out any more? 38 links coming out.
Once Blink comes off cooldown.
This is a little dangerous, though, as he's starting to end up on the creep, though. Once this happens, positioning a lot easier for the Zerg as the movement speed buff for the unit starts to come into play. And that's pretty... It's pretty intimidating. It might not sound like a lot, but to a Protoss player, you see that creep, and sometimes you're like, I think I can attack. I think. But if I'm wrong, I die. That's not a fun prospect for anybody.
And up he's going for, what's he got here? Missile attacks. And a glial reconstitution for roaches. Going into roaches. And he's got Vipers. Vipers are going to be pretty good. Pull these Colossus right into the chunks of Hydras. Pop the Colossus off. He's going to need these pretty quick, though. Mercury's kind of dilly-dallying here at the edge of creep, so there's still a chance here.
He's waiting for his upgrades, I think. Got a +3 attack just about to come out. Actually, does he have anything else? He only has attack upgrades. Well, that's one thing working in AMH's favor, then. He's actually going to try and swing around the army. He's going to force him to come back home with this. Of course, he's going to see that, or he's going to start a base trade. See what happens here. Gets up into the base. Sentry comes out. Is not able to stop most of the wings, which are going to get up into the main base. Oh, there's a Colossus here. That is an unfortunate life for a Colossus, actually. This is a really nice thing to pick off. Meanwhile, the army of Mercury has moved forward into the base.
Yeah, moving in here. Colossus beaming down everything they got. Hydras have no tanky stuff here. 19 roaches on the way. These can pop fast enough. Throw those up front, take some of the hits, but not before he definitely loses this base. He doesn't want to engage us right now.
It's back home. Next is still up. Did get the Colossus. Doesn't look like he got a lot more. There's Storm coming now, which we may not see. Oh, now those Vipers are there, and that's intimidating. Roaches are popping out, and it looks like the army's going to fall back until Storm pops out.
Yep, they're still on creep. That's a problem. Definitely going to catch up. These Phoenixes serve their purpose. Down they go. Force fields. Force fields stopping most of the army, but they're going to trickle around here.
Actually, you'll notice because of the way they're positioned, they're causing movement bugs. And the roaches are just kind of spinning in place instead of going around them. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's one of those things where you're like...
Ooh, all the Vipers got feedback. All dead.
Well, with that, now it's just Roach Hydra versus Colossus Death Ball. So if it comes down to really how fast can you kill the Colossus, and they're getting a lot of shots off here, just vaporizing most of the army. I don't think this is going to end well for AMH, and he's getting out of here.
Oh, excellent snipes there by Mercury. Very
oh no,
clutch.
the Hydra's turned. And... That's that.
Yep, AMH taps out. Gives Mercury the game. The series.
Mercury takes it 2-0. Okay, there we go. AMH is locked off of SC2. I don't know if he's going to be back, but let's go ahead and get this started either way. First of all, Mercury, congratulations on winning. You look surprisingly solid for having played a lot of Counter-Strike. As always.
Wait, what? I didn't play a lot of Counter-Strike. Who played a lot of Counter-Strike?
No, nobody. I thought you were saying you bought a lot of CSGO.
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Was I saying, oh.
No, I played it like for the last 1.5 years, but I never played like a lot.
Oh, okay. Just different definitions then. But yeah, still looking pretty solid in the StarCraft's worlds. That's the point I'm trying to
Man, I felt myself getting slower. I I wanted to do all this stuff, and then whoa, fuck, supply block. Oh my god, 100 energy on the Nexus. What is happening?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome
Hello.
back, good sir. So, so yeah, pretty much the way this works hasn't really changed. I'll just go ahead and we'll talk about the two games that we played from both your perspectives, any comments that you want to make. So with the first one, we played on Deadwing. So yeah, Mercury, you can go ahead and go first.
Yeah.
What did you think
Deadwing,
of this game?
basically, yeah. Well, Deadwing, like I played the greediest build Protoss has. Like I went 17 Nexus, 17 Gate, and then like I scouted him building his third, and to make things even greedier, I went Forge to cannon rush the third, and it even worked. So I guess that was pretty much the name of the game.
Yeah, I went 3 hatchery before pool, so I had no defense, and he couldn't rush me. So when he couldn't rush me, I knew the game was over. Since I just saw 1 cannon, so I tried to defend it, but there was 3 cannons actually, so I should have canceled the third and keep going. I checked the workers graph. I was behind Protoss player all game, so that's just a lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. So, Mercury, from your perspective, how do you tend to follow that up? I mean, you got the cannons out there. You've done the damage. What do you do to drive it home?
Well, once you have like a setup with pylons and cannons and it's third, it's pretty much the best thing to do is like do a gateway push, because you have like very close pylons which are defended by cannons, so he can't like really take them out without roaches. So once you can like push from there with gateway units, at like if that doesn't kill him because you're so far ahead by cannon rushing his third, then you can just expand from there and keep pressuring him with the closed pylons. Like get your third and fourth.
Yeah, I knew he was going to do that, so I tried to do early upgrades for Zerlings so I can hold the gate pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Since the beginning of the game, I knew I was going to go fast ultras. The only issue was the void race. I didn't count on that. So when I saw the sentries siloed pressure, it wasn't worried since I had plenty of Zerlings. And I decided to keep going with the ultra strategy. But then I saw the void race and I knew it was pretty much over again.
Yeah, I only built the void race because you built a hedge in my natural, and I thought you were doing some crazy like swarm host kind of stuff or something.
Yeah, it was just for you to react. I was trying to keep macroing, but it was a bad
well,
game.
the reaction was void race. I guess that fuck you.
See, yeah,
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, that I imagine is the problem with that situation, right? You pretty much have to you have to kind of flip a coin.
Yeah.
And be like, well, I'm gonna pick a crazy response. Hopefully it works.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it worked since I saw him warping so many silhouettes at the front and not at my front. So that gave me a lot of time. I knew that was going to happen, but I just had I was too low on drones.
Okay.
So I knew at the long it would cost me a game.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about game number 2. Game number 2 we want a little bit longer. Seemed a little bit more of an
Macro game.
More ordinary, so to speak. So, but yeah, talk about this game.
Well, from my point of view, I just tried to went a fast Hydra link push. The only issue was I lost too many units and overlords to the Phoenix. So my push with 30 Hydras should be pushing like 1130, and it pushed like 13, and he saw it. He saw the double Hydras then with his Phoenix.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much. I was at that. How to say it? I was at disadvantage since my push was late. I lost a lot of injects for losing the queens, and he scouted the double Hydras then. So then, when I finally get the Vipers, I knew I had to win right there. So I overextended. I didn't see the High Templars, and that lost me again.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I opened that game with like I wanted to do some like specific build order, but I didn't follow it at all. It just like went gate sometime and gas sometime and then Nexus sometime, because like the drone was blocking it, so it wasn't really that important because I couldn't build it anyway. So when I so my build order involved going Stargate and Phoenix after the expand, but usually it's like timed it perfectly that when the core finishes, I get my Stargate immediately. But like that didn't line up at all. So like I just played like whatever from then. Like I was like, well, screw this build order, and so I just like I improvised a little. So like I just went a lot of Phoenix once I saw he was going Hydras, because like if you have like 10 Phoenix when he starts building Hydras, it's very bad because like for him, because you can like pick up the first 10 to 15 Hydras just by lifting them with your Phoenixes, and that slows down any push you can do. So I guess that's one of the reasons why the push didn't work, because like the push, like I had problems with the push because like I didn't have enough units in time. But like I guess it could have killed me if I didn't have the Phoenixes to pick up so many Hydras.
Yeah, that was a really interesting engagement since I tried to position myself afar from the stalkers using the forefield, but then I didn't see that he was rising the Phoenix count. Usually, when you see 2 Hydras, then your first reaction is not to mass Phoenix. So if I knew he was massing Phoenix instead of getting more units, I wouldn't push at that time. I will wait a little bit longer, get more Hydras, and then push. Because if he is going to mass Phoenix for defense, that means his Colossi are going to be later, are going to be delayed. So I can wait there then more Hydras. So I didn't scout well, didn't see the Phoenix count going up. Well, screw up the build. It was pretty late, and then the Viper mistake. If I could just abduct those Colossi, I would have won that engagement, but he
Yeah,
did
yeah.
it well.
Like, I
He
was very scared when I
positioned
saw the
his Colossi in
Vipers.
the back. Yeah, he blinked back with some Stalkers to try to kill the Vipers, and then I didn't see the High Templars. I got feedback, and
Yep.
yeah, I couldn't do anything without my Vipers.
Yeah. It was pretty straightforward from there. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
Fuck the Viper. Fuck the police.
Well, I'm looking forward for next week so we can get our second
Yeah.
round, so we can play again. I really enjoy it. I really
good.
like playing with you guys. I can practice my English too.
Hey, there's a
Excellent.
plus, yeah.
And you're doing a pretty good job.
Thank
Understand you
Yes.
just fine.
Yes, you sound very good.
So, before we wrap
sounds
this up,
very good.
we technically there's another match in 15 minutes, but we do have time for this. So, Zero, if there's any comments you'd like to throw at the players, go ahead. And I'm going to start throwing messages at people that are supposed to play soon. So, one sec.
Actually, I don't really have many comments. Oh, the force
Yeah, I think
fields
they
were.
really
Nice.
straightforward games.
Yeah, I mean, it was. You guys are, fairly high level games. It's diamond level stuff. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty cut and dry. You guys got your mechanics down, and that's about it. I did like the little tug of war between the two armies though there, because I noticed that the Protoss pushed up to the creep, and then the Hydra sent him back. And then the High Templars came out, knocked your Vipers off. You went back to your base, and then you guys ended up fighting in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, like, the Vipers drove me back because, like, I didn't have anything. Like, if I engaged right there without my Templars, I would have lost for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and
like,
we
I was,
lost
like,
really
panicking
bad.
back. Yeah.
Yep, that could have
Because
totally.
I had like only two
Yeah,
Colossi.
it's really
as well.
funny. When you push with your Idris and he has no Colossi, you will win really easy.
Yeah.
When he get the Colossi, he will win really easy. Then you get the Viper, you win really easy. Then he gets the High Templar, he wins really easy. It's a matter of key units.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
a
lot
matter
about
of key
timing.
units.
Yeah.
Units,
Since if I engage
execution.
with a Viper, it's not like it will favor him a little bit. It's like he will crush you, like all your army in seconds. And if I have the Vipers, it's the same way. It's not like I win for a little bit. I just crush his army. So you gotta be really careful.
Yeah, it's a very fragile like army matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, you guys picked the most fragile units, so.
Yeah.
And it's bound to happen, I suppose.
So, also just one last final comment. We have switched to a bi-weekly format, so the next time you guys will be able to play is in 2 weekends. The next weekend, what we're going to be doing is just playing arcade.
And next week we're playing
things
arcade?
about. Yes.
Nice. Can we play micro tournament?
We can try. I've had weird problems with that map where it just crashes some people's computers, essentially. So, like, I mean, I'm not against it, but
I know that
hopefully it
problem,
just
yeah.
doesn't totally sync someone's computer, and then we're like scrambling to rejoin people into the lobby and whatnot. Like,
Okay, I got some
it can
really
cause some havoc, but yeah.
yeah, we can try. I got some really good maps in my really good arcade maps on my bookmarks, so I can send them to you later, so you can try them and you decide.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, basically what we do, we'll have a few that we're probably going to suggest, but it's like 3 hours long, and people can suggest stuff if they want. As long as none of it's too long, then it's no big deal. We can play pretty much whatever. But yeah, anyway, that's on Saturdays. I think right now we're lined up with Threxor's show, so we'll usually do the 3 hours before when his show starts, which is like, I want to say 2 PST for us.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I have to double check that. In any case, we have another match to get started, so we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we will be back here at 5:30 PST, or in about 14 minutes, with Zero Q versus Griffang.
All right. We'll see you then.
Okay. Well, happy Valentine's, and just have a nice week.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks. Know what I'm